Hello and welcome to another episode of Girls Do Sport, the bite-sized guide to women's sport here in Scotland. In each programme we have focused on several different sports and in many different ways. We've showcased what the sport is about, its key people and what the future holds for it here in Scotland. Today it's all about hockey. Hockey has been an important sport throughout history, with evidence of the sport coming as early as Roman times over 4,000 years ago. The first professional tournament was held in London back in 1908, and Scotland is one of the founding members of the International Federation of Women's Hockey Association, but sadly they didn't compete in the first ever Women's World Cup back in 1974. Holland have dominated the women's format of the game, winning the World Cup a record 7 times, and the Blue Sticks themselves have competed at 4 World Cups, the last coming in 2002, and they are currently ranked 18th in the world. Later on we will have one of the current members of the Scotland squad, defender Kareena Kapoor, along with development officer Katie Brown, and under-18s coach and recently crowned Scottish Women's Sports People's Champion Susan McDowell, who will also be joining us. Recently, our reporter Gregor Hines went along to Unzen senior ladies training to see what inspired them as they push for a return to the top division of national hockey.
Unzen Ladies Hockey Club find themselves top of the league and undefeated this far into the season. One thing that helps the squad as they continue to lead the way in National Division 2 is the size of their senior squad. Every weekend the ladies manage to field 3 teams, showing a lot of depth and quality. We asked members of the current senior squad about what got them into hockey.
My PE teacher at school, she played for Wales at the time, and she really got me interested in it and kept me going all the way through till I left school.
Well, my mum got me involved and wanted me to start a club because there's a lot of school hockey, and like my coach in school kept me going throughout the years.
My dad coaches the youth, so I started going to youth training, really enjoyed it, and then just kept going from there.
A big part of sport can also be trying to keep yourself motivated as the years go by and season goes on. So we also asked players what has kept them motivated to keep playing hockey, especially for Uddingston.
Just to get better every day, and I enjoy it for the social aspects, so I enjoy kind of coming out to the club, it's meeting friends and just getting to hang out with them.
Well, it's good to keep my fitness up, and I enjoy the social side of it because it's good to meet friends and that.
The girls also shared with us what they thought could be done to get more women involved with hockey and other sports around Scotland.
I think it needs to be better promoted, and that we just really need to kind of, as women, go out together and get people involved in it ourselves. Better advertising and also some more funding into women's only programmes would be the best thing.
Funding, and I definitely think more advertising, especially in schools and stuff.
It's more funding and women participation days, talent days and that for just females. Just more advertising and encouragement and school at younger ages.
Anna also commented on how the success of Team GB has had a knock-on effect as it's inspired a lot more women to get involved with hockey since the Commonwealth Games.
I think so. There's definitely, especially here at youth training, there's definitely a lot more younger girls coming and improving. Especially in the teams coming up, the second team and third team, there's definitely a lot more girls wanting to push into the teams. It's
been a great season so far for Uddingston ladies. Let's hope they can carry that forward into the latter stage of the league. This is Gregor Hines from UWS.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Barnett, Everett Ambassador.
And I'm Kaz Cuthbert, and I'm the captain of the women's Scottish hockey team.
When did you start hockey?
I started hockey when I was 7 years old.
What do you eat before you start a competition?
I have my porridge in the mornings, and then I have my scrambled eggs before games.
What's the biggest challenge you've had over the years?
Recovering from injury.
Do you have any secrets you'd like to tell us?
I always wear the same old smelly pair of socks for most of my games.
What's your biggest achievement?
I've been to Commonwealth Games and winning the European Championship competition.
How many times do you train a week?
Every day, sometimes twice a day.
What are your goals for the future?
We are aiming for the Commonwealth Games in 2018, so that's next year, and that's probably my biggest goal.
What's the best advice anyone's ever given to you?
No regrets. Learn from your mistakes, but don't regret anything that you've done in the past.
What's the best advice you'd give to someone?
Enjoy whatever you're up to.
We now have Scotland International Kareena Kapoor and Scottish Regional Development Manager Katie Brown joining us in the studio. So Kareena, first of all, You represented your country at the Commonwealth Games in New Delhi.
Yep.
That must have been huge for you.
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest competition I've ever played in. It was phenomenal to be surrounded by so many other world-class athletes of so many other different sports, as well as the best in hockey. And to play in a multi-games event like that is just, it's something you live for. So yeah, it's great.
That's brilliant. And obviously being able to travel with your sport to something as massive as that, is that just what you, must be what most athletes work to? How was that when you finally achieved that?
Yeah, I think travelling is probably one of the biggest sort of perks to playing for your national side. I've been to some great places in the world. I've been to Delhi, as you say. I've been to Chile. I've been to New Zealand. I've been to Russia. I've been to all the countries you maybe wouldn't know. But yeah, it's definitely it's a wee eye-opener, and it's a really good experience in life to get around the world.
Okay, so you yourself play netball, you were telling me. So how did you get involved in your role with Scottish hockey?
So I've done various different sports throughout my life, and mainly through school my interest started in sport, and I was always in the PE department. Even if I didn't have a PE lesson in my 6th year at school, I was in there helping out the teachers and doing a wee bit of coaching on the side. And I've worked in various different sports. I studied sport development actually at UWS, based in Paisley, and it was kind of, once you know how to develop one sport, you can apply the same aspects to any sport. The job came up at hockey. I applied, and thankfully I was successful. And I've been there almost 2 years now, and it's a fantastic place to work, and the hockey's booming. So I couldn't ask for a kind of better place to work. It's great.
So a lot of transferable skills from other sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and obviously, even though I do work in hockey, I've a lot of connections with other governing bodies, other sports. We all work quite closely together, so it's a lot of good practice sharing and networking and sharing different ideas.
And what just now has been implemented to sustain hockey in Scotland just now?
So we've got various programmes going on. Myself as a regional development manager, there's 4 of us across the country, all working in our own regions. So I cover the west, so as far up as Oban, right down to Dumfries, and we're increasingly getting more and more emails and contact from clubs popping up everywhere. So for example, Tyree and Mull, they're starting up hockey clubs, which is fantastic to hear. Hockey's just growing. And as myself as a regional development manager, I work specifically with clubs to support them through their development needs, schools, local authorities, bringing in different initiatives to get kids and girls interested in the sport, even adults as well, so bringing them back to the sport. We run a programme called Back to Hockey, so whether it's someone who's never played before and is looking for a way to get fit, that kind of social aspect, or if it's someone who's maybe played at school years ago and has maybe fallen away from the sport and are looking to kind of come back in, that kind of programme's aimed at them to go and join their local club and pick up a stick again.
That's brilliant. Kareena, as Katie said, hockey's booming just now. What kind of progress have you seen in the sport since you started yourself, and how do you agree with Katie when she says it's booming just now? And
yeah, I have to massively agree. At the moment, obviously, I'm at a performance level, but you can see it filtering down throughout, all the different levels of hockey, from grassroots to your club stuff, like you say, your older age group stuff as well. There's vet stuff that goes on, and then there's obviously your high performance level. I think throughout the whole UK, hockey's taken a massive kind of rising, with GB women winning a gold medal in Rio last year. It's just catapulted the sport not only into the limelight of media and stuff like that, which is huge in progressing and growing any sport. And I think, we used to class ourselves as a minority sport, and anyone who classes themselves as that wants to get themselves up to being known and massively increasing their participation rates and getting everyone involved. So you can definitely see it. My club just in itself has grown in the last 4 years that I've been at it. We've now got 3 ladies teams out instead of 2, and there's lots of stuff going on all over, so yeah, it's great.
And obviously, things like winning gold in Rio, and players becoming maybe household names like Sam Quick and things like that, even bringing it back to a kind of regional and club level and even performance level, you say yourself, getting those role models out there for young girls to get involved is so important.
Yeah, I think that's we've kind of tried to capitalise on that success as much as possible, and we're all very much about sharing the kind of good news stories and positive role models such as Kaz and the rest of the women's team is very much promoting that on our social media and our website and various other social media outlets, just to kind of promote those good news stories and tell the kids out there, the girls, women, men, anybody who's looking to kind of start up sport or try a different sport, that there's different opportunities out there and you can be part of that success too.
And you know, from your regional development manager position, you're kind of out looking that way. How important are things like social media now and initiatives like Girls Do Sport and getting the word across and, you know, really kind of drilling home to girls that these sports are here for you to try, nothing's stopping you? It's
absolutely imperative. I mean, kids these days, they're all on social media. Everybody's got a phone in their hand, and where are they going to look first? If I know if I was looking for a new club to join, I'd probably check Facebook or Twitter or somewhere first, and if clubs and things are on there, it's promotion for them. So we're all very much focused on promoting our sport. Nobody's going to promote it for us. So if we can put that positive message out there, then these kids are going to see that. They're going to want to be part of it. And yeah, that's very much what we're all about.
We're just moving away from the kind of legacy and the building side of things. Kaz, you coach the Western Wildcats. What's the latest with them?
So Western Wildcats are doing really well this season. We're about halfway through our club season at the moment, and we're sitting in the top 4 in the league, which for our club is brilliant. So I've been there for 4 years now, just trying to split the strength of international players throughout the country. You know, you get a couple of teams that are dominant and heavy with international players, and it's no way to grow a sport. So at Wildcats now, we've got a great youth set up, and we've got kids coming through who were 14, 15 when I started. They're now 18, 19, 20, and they're playing and performing really, really well, and they're competing against these teams that have senior internationals to get them. So I'm very proud of my Wildcats, and they're doing very well at this half of the season. Yeah.
Development-wise as well, the club are doing fantastic. They were one of the first clubs in Scotland to achieve the Scottish Hockey Gold accreditation standard. So they're doing absolutely all the right key areas to develop the club and grow it.
That's brilliant. Well, we're now going to take it to the floor. I know our audience have got some questions for you today. So I believe our first question is for Damaris.
Yeah. Hi. My question is for both of you. What is your favourite sporting experience?
Oh, wow.
I can go for this one. I've got a number of different sort of sporting experiences for different reasons, but to me hockey is massively about my family. So my brother also competes for the Scottish men's team, and probably my highlight was Delhi 2010 Commonwealth Games, when my mum was there watching in the stands and my brother was there watching, and I got to do role reversal, and when they played Trinidad and Tobago, I think he scored a beauty of a goal, and it was really nice to just be there and support him. So it's a family thing for me.
For me, probably the one that springs to mind was probably years ago when I was really young, and it was kind of what kind of triggered me and got me interested in sport, and it was through primary school, and it was basically playing netball with my school and was winning the kind of local schools league. It was great, but I'd never really seen an atmosphere quite like it until I first started at Scottish Hockey, and the Schools Cup final night, it's insane. If you've never been, you should come along, because it's a fantastic evening. It's just schools playing hockey, all their supporters come along, pupils from the schools attend, they've got their drums, they're waving their banners, and it's just electric. It's a great atmosphere.
That's brilliant. I think Joe has a question for us next.
Hiya, this one's for Katie. Do you play hockey as well?
No, I don't. No, I play netball. They have tried to get me playing hockey since I started working at Scottish Hockey. Yes. I did make my debut at summer hockey this year, in Glasgow at the Summer Slam event, and I was average at best. But it was great fun. So anybody who's looking for that kind of fun side of the sport, social, it's a very welcoming, fun, relaxed sport, and if you're looking to make new friends as well, I definitely recommend it.
That's brilliant. I think Carolina has a question for us now.
Yes, my question is to Cass. I was wondering what inspired you to start playing hockey?
So again, my mum was very keen on sport when she was able to run, and she'll kill me for that one. So we, as a family, my brother and myself, we got taken to hockey, badminton, swimming, tennis. Whatever clubs were going, we were joining them. I think she just saw it as a great way to develop loads of different aspects. It's not about just the sport, it's about making friendships, being able to socialise. It's also the discipline involved in you know, attending these sessions, putting in your best. So yeah, that's how I got involved, and she was very inspirational in helping the two of us achieve what we've got, or where we've got in the sport, so yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much to our studio audience for those questions. Well, now, over all 9 episodes, we've been getting our guests to compete against each other in some friendly competition. Kaz, you ready for this? So today, Kareena will be challenged to see how many words she can fit about her sport in 15 seconds. So, Kareena, if you could just look straight down that camera, you've got 15 seconds, as much as you can, for why girls should get involved with hockey. Go.
All right. Go. Okay. Hockey, balls, sticks, goals, aggressive, fun, exciting, family, friends, community, brilliant, amazing, wonderful, just fantastic. Do you count if you'd say a sentence? Goals, flicks, hits, sweeps, batting the ball.
Inspirational.
That's a good note to I think inspirational is a good note to end on. You did
Definitely.
You did say before that you were very competitive at hockey, you wanted to win. We can tell you that you scored 28 there, so we'll get that on your leaderboard. Funny you say that. We'll get that score on the leaderboard, and you can find out all the other scores from all the episodes on our Facebook page, Scottish Women in Sports. We're going to keep you in tenterhooks for that one. You'll need to give us a like and see how you got on. That's the only way to find out.
Sure, we can do that.
But anyway, thank you so much, Kareena and Katie, for joining us today and being here in our studio. Earlier this month, our reporters Jan Spans and Gregor Hines went along to the UWS ladies team training with university sport, proving a great way to make friends and establish a social life outside of education.
When it comes to university sport, more is based around the social side and making sure everyone enjoys themselves. We came along to training session for the University of the West of Scotland to ask players about their experiences within hockey and what got them involved in the sport originally.
I've been playing hockey since I was wee. One of my brother's friends, older sisters, took me along to a training session at Kilburn Hockey Club, and I've been there ever since. It was just an instant addiction.
I went to the Freshers' Fair and I found out they were doing sports, and because I'd played hockey before, I decided it'd be best to kind of take up a sport. Plus they didn't have a team for athletics, so I wanted to take up hockey.
We then asked the players if the social side of hockey had played a huge role in keeping them involved in university team and in hockey in general.
Basically just having a kind of family atmosphere within the uni that you maybe wouldn't have with your like people you study with.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, you're all the same. You're all roughly the same age. You're all, you know, looking for something new. Unless you've been playing hockey before, it's fun. You know, you come along, you meet new people. You build that friendship instead of having it going into university. You develop new connections. There's new personalities you're around.
Playing hockey, probably just the team. Like, I've made so many friends and it's a new social group that I've now can hang around with and things like that. Plus, it keeps me healthy and fit, so I can easily go from uni straight to hockey.
All three players also commented on what could be done to try and get more women involved in university hockey and to try to keep people involved in the sport overall.
There could be a wee bit more advertisement. Like the sports that succeed more, like even the gents hockey, they're a wee bit more advertised, and people might overlook hockey because they think, oh, it's just a stick and a ball, you know, you have more potential to be hurt, but really it's probably one of the easiest sports to pick up.
Because we don't have a lot of players, it's going to be things like going to Freshers' Fairs or going to like the open evenings and mentioning the sport. Like, I personally have said I'll volunteer for that, and
Yeah, I think to develop more junior tournaments, like the inflatable pitch that you use at the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, like that was really, really big. I think definitely putting more publicity into schools would be a really big thing for them to do.
Overall, it's fair to say that UWS, everyone here is out to enjoy themselves regardless.
Now we have the story of 12-year-old Zaha Kerbali, who after starting secondary school last year petitioned her school rector for an after-school hockey club. Ryan Gallagher reports.
Zaha Kerbali may only have stepped up to Queen Anne High School in the summer, but she has already made a name for herself. Her petition gathered over 100 signatures and saw an after-school hockey club created in partnership with coaches from Dunfermline Carnegie Hockey Club.
I started when I didn't get into the school hockey club, and I still was really keen to get into hockey, so I started here because I knew Douglas also took the one at school. We were doing really well at our school hockey club, and we got to Glasgow Nationals, and I was really upset that they didn't have a hockey team at Queen Anne, so I asked my coach to help me with the petition, and we got about over 100 signatures.
Zara was a great way to go, especially the way that she went around it. She saw that there was a niche in the market, she really loved hockey, and she went and done it, and absolutely good on her. She went and done a petition, and look where it's got us now. I mean, if we can get that throughout the whole of Scotland, great. Everyone should have the opportunity to play hockey.
I just presumed all high schools in Scotland had hockey, so I think it's good that her school now has a hockey team that plays every Tuesday after school, so I think it's good we've had a positive result. So, well, it's good. I'm very proud of her.
I enjoy working as a team, and especially enjoy the girls' team because it's more teamwork. It's a good way to keep fit and make new friends and things.
Hockey's popularity is clearly on the rise in Scotland, and the main challenge is keeping young people within the sport.
I can say in my friend group I've made the best friends in a hockey team. So
I just feel it's important for girls to get into sport because it's important to broaden all sport, and it will help encourage others.
Because the parents are the one that's taking them to the sport, they're paying for the sport, they're encouraging them with the sport. So I think any sport they do, they should encourage them. I think there's a lot of distractions with TV and internet and social media, so I think it's important they still have, sport in their lives.
Hockey, I think, it's not as mainstream as the classic football. However, obviously with the Olympics, the women's GB team, ever since then I've been seeing loads more people trying out hockey, and especially the women's side has just been great funding coming in, and I think that's what we need to use. We need to utilise that success of the GB team and push that even more.
Just makes a change from generic sports. I feel football can be a bit boring sometimes, and hockey is coming up in popularity, and it's good.
It works well with other sports in the sense we don't train 7 times a week or 14 times a week. It's not really intense, 2-3 times a week, so you can balance it up with other things you got. Girls don't come on a Thursday because they go dancing, or they one girl's captain of a swim club, so we can balance. So it's the sort of sport we're not really looking for early specialisation. We're really looking for late participation. We really want them to be playing sport up, when they're 16, 17. Then the likelihood of continued is much, much, much higher.
They just need to throw themselves into the physical activity part of it and think about the bigger picture of this can improve my physical activity. It can also improve mentally and emotionally as well, having that team camaraderie around you.
And it's a lot about peers as well. I feel that if someone stops hockey, then the other person stops hockey, and it's about staying on because you can really improve.
This has been Ryan Gallagher for Girls Do Sport.
Our next guest was recently voted the Scottish Women in Sport SSE People's Champion and is the current coach of the Under-18s national side, Susan McDowell. Susan, thank you so much for joining us today. Firstly, congratulations on your recent award. That must have been really quite humbling.
It was very humbling. I was a bit gobsmacked, to put it mildly. It was a great evening. An honour really, because when you do a voluntary job, you're not looking for accolades or prizes. So yeah, it was a great honour. Loved it.
Just goes to show you though the kind of people that Scottish Women in Sport are really championing. Like as you say, you're a volunteer, but you've had this award, you just weren't expecting it at all.
No, and the fact that it was like a public vote, So it was people that obviously knew me that voted for me, which was great. I don't suppose I can say that I voted for myself 100 times, but, well, I didn't actually, I didn't. But, you know, it was great to be recognised by people that I work with. Yeah, it was lovely.
Well, just to go back to start now, you played yourself.
Yes.
How did you get involved yourself?
Well, it started in the 1890s. No, not that old. It started at school.
I went over my head as well.
It started at school when I was 13. Lucky for me, I had a teacher that was a hockey player, and she encouraged our class to play hockey. I think I was the only one that enjoyed hockey. Everybody else hated me because when it was a wet, rainy day, and we played in Blaze back then, they would be threatening me to take dinner money off me, not to go out and play hockey, but I always wanted to go out and play hockey. And it just really progressed from there. She recommended that I would go to a local club, so I started playing at Irvine Ladies. And then I moved from Irvine Ladies to Garnock because they were playing National League hockey, and I stayed with Garnock right up until I left Garnock, and I went to play at Stirling. That was the last 3 years of my hockey career. I played at Stirling, so I travelled and played at Stirling twice a week. And then I retired about 5 years ago.
And so was it a natural progression then for you to move into a coaching role?
It's not actually coaching, sorry, I don't like to, it's managing. So my coach wasn't very pleased if I said he was taking over his role. So I actually managed the under-18 Scottish girls. So I'd basically been retired for a month, hung up my hockey stick for a month, and I got a phone call from Scottish Hockey to say would I be interested in managing the under-18 girls, and I said yes. And the rest, they say, is history. This is me into my 5th season now.
Wow. And so, as you say, you've been in for five seasons now. Listening to Katie's work and all the different regional development managers, how have you seen, what kind of progression have you seen in developing the sport in Scotland, even since you started playing yourself?
Well, huge difference from when I started playing to now. And Scottish Hockey have a pathway programme, which is basically what the youth teams are all about. So under 18 girls, it's development. You're developing them to hopefully progress into 21s and seniors, and then furthermore into Great Britain. At the moment, there are 3 of the Scottish players are in the Great Britain programme for the Olympics. One of them went through the under-18 programme when I was managing, and we also have 4 girls that are part of the Great Britain Elite Development Programme, and they went through the under-18 programme during the last 5 years with myself. So yeah, great progression. It's great to see that's really fulfilling when you see girls. That's the whole point of the programme. And when you see them going on to 21s, senior ladies in Scotland, and on to GB, you know, you can't ask for anything else. It's great.
It's also it's so important keeping girls sustaining that career through to adulthood, but also getting people involved at any age is massive in your sport as well.
Oh yeah, right from little tiny babies and masters. The ladies have a masters team in over 60s. I actually played in the masters as well when I was playing, but obviously retired from masters as well as playing hockey 5 years ago. But yeah. It's a great family sport. I mean, there's lots of clubs have families involved, so you have mums and dads and the kids and the juniors. So yeah, it's great for families as well.
So you're obviously heavily involved in under-18 level. What would you say is the future? How's the future looking for Scottish hockey?
Oh, I think the future's looking great. I mean, like I just said, we've got so many now in the Great Britain development and in the actual Great Britain senior squad. You can't ask for any more. Oh, well, we can ask for more. We can ask that more people get to that stage. So I think what we're doing is good, and we're on the right. We can always improve, but we're on the right lines, and I think we're doing really well. Scottish hockey, yeah.
That's brilliant, Susan. Thank you so much for your time. Well, that's all we have time for this week. But for more information on these events and others, head over to sportonspec.co.uk. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Do Sport, brought to you by the Scottish Women in Sport and sports journalists from the University of the West of Scotland. We'd also like to thank our brilliant partners at Brandon for making everything look fabulous, and Sport on Spec. Don't forget to keep the conversation going using the hashtag Girls Do Sport. But for now, thank you for watching.